Hi, I'm Matt Moran. Welcome to Kitchen Tales. There's nothing I like more than catching up with mates while I cook for them in my kitchen. It's where all the best stories are told. Today I've invited a friend into my home to chat about their lives. I've done some digging into their favourite food memories, and while we chat, I'll be whipping up something delicious inspired by their stories. Sometimes what I come up with might really surprise them. So join us in the kitchen. I'm looking forward to sharing their kitchen tales with you.
Oh, wow. Oh, Maddie.
So my guest today on Kitchen Tales is Brooke Boney. Now, if you don't know Brooke, you can see her on the Today Show as the entertainment reporter, but also for many, many years, she was on Triple J as a presenter. Now, I met Brooke through a mutual friend about a year ago at North Bondi Fish, Ali Langdon, and we met, we had lunch. It ended up being a really long lunch. In fact, I think she is here right now, so I'll go and grab her. How are you?
Hello.
Fist punch, elbow.
Your feet ones.
Feet on the ones.
No.
Is Fred there? Oh, just Fred.
Fred. Hello. Hello.
How you been?
Yeah, I've been good.
Ready to eat some food?
I am ready to eat some food. I came hungry.
Because I'll tell you, after you watch me cook all this food, you're going to be like frothing at the mouth. You'll need some water.
I am so excited for this.
I kind of took that conversation that we had, and I've just thought, what would you like? Maybe a little bit of childhood memories. And I've rung a few people, got some inspiration. I remember you saying to me that you used to go to the fridge, open it up, pinch a bit of Devon, put tomato sauce on it, and then sneak off and pretend that no one ever saw you. So I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to do it a little bit more fancy or bourgeois or whatever you want to call it. So it's not just a tomato sauce, it's actually a tomato relish that we've made.
This looks so beautiful. This is what I was saying to you, that I love that everyone's making mortadella sandwiches at the moment, because I'm a bogan and it's basically just a fancy Devon sandwich.
It basically is. This is a little bit of Gruyere. And look, I don't know about waistlines or anything, because I've always just done things in moderation. So I love a lot of cheese, but what I do also is I put butter on both sides. So this is just a little treat to start with, and then we're just going to go into some really groovy stuff. I've actually been baking all morning. I baked some bread, look at that.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
You like that? I was very proud of that this morning.
Yeah, that's lovely.
All right, we're just going to make a toasty, and just let that sit there slowly. I'm going to push it down so it's nice and sticky in the middle, and lots of oozing stuff out of it, which is always good.
Well, if we're starting with one of my favourites, I don't know how you can top a Devon sandwich, but I'm willing to let you try.
Well, I made bread. That's how I would make bread normally every morning, yeah? It's got a beautiful crust on it, it's all opened up. You also used to eat a little bit of bread. It's a little bit different to mine. Self-raising flour in a pot. A little bit of cold butter. I'm just going to put that in there, and I'm just going to crumb it. So this is not my bread. This is, well, you've got to guess. What do you think it is?
Are you making damper?
Yeah, I am.
Oh my gosh.
I remember you saying how much you love damper.
I do. Well, my nan used to make it when we were younger. Nan would make up a big, huge pot of stew and damper. Some of my earliest food memories are of like really buttery damper that's still warm, and you like dip it in the stew, or like have it like smothered with golden syrup.
I only ever remember eating damper as a young kid when I'd go away with my grandfather and would go bush. He would make damper, and all we had was just lathings of butter and golden syrup. Another dish to go with your damper, I think it's actually going to go really well. I reckon, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to make.
It's going to be a surprise.
You can see some ingredients there.
Yeah, there's a lot of like curry-looking ingredients.
Well, I remember you talking about a curry once upon a time.
Gosh, look at the cheese dripping out of it a little bit.
No, that's the whole idea. All right, now I'm just going to turn that around, and we're going to just. I don't want it to slide off. You know what I should put in there, just to make it stick. Because that was sliding off a little bit. That's just going to stick it. It's like glue. So we're just going to let that go down there. So I'm just going to knead that. Right, I'm just going to put that on there. And I'm just going to bake it. That's it. Easy.
Beautiful. I don't know if I told you about when I was in India.
Yeah.
So I was on a retreat with my cousin Ryan in Goa, sort of in the middle of nowhere, and we were so hungry and like so desperate for a glass of wine that we hired a driver, figured out where the best restaurant was, but it was this old house. And we had to drive for like 3 hours to get there. And we snuck away from the retreat to go and have like an 8-course lunch.
You naughty girl. Now, strangely enough, a very, very dear friend of mine, who is an Indian chef, his name is Sanjeev Kapoor. Now, you think of Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay, Nigella Lawson, they've got nothing on this guy. He is so famous in India. In fact, he's not only had the longest running cooking show in India, he's had the longest running TV show in India.
Wow.
I told him about your little story about going to this restaurant, and I said, I'd love to make a prawn curry. So he actually gave me a recipe.
Wow, how special.
Yeah. So hopefully it's as good as that one in that little restaurant. Now look at that for a toasty.
That is amazing.
Yeah? Well, nice and crunchy.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Oh, look at that. I hope it's as good as the Devon in the fridge.
I've got a feeling it's going to be better.
Now, don't burn yourself, will you? All right.
This is the ultimate problem with the toasty though, isn't it? Because you always just want to eat it so quickly and then you end up burning your mouth.
My daughter, Amelia, loves toasties. Like, I mean, she goes insane. Now, I'm not going to have a glass of wine yet, but I'm definitely going to have one to celebrate later because cooking in wine...
I can't stop eating it, it's so good.
I surprise myself sometimes. This is really off the cuff. I've got all the ingredients that Sanjeev told me to do. So I've got a little bit of cumin, a bit of coriander, turmeric, because I remember you saying that the curry was a turmeric curry. A little bit of chilli, but I'm not going to add all of it because I might add a little bit later. We've got some dried chilies just dehydrated.
Yummy.
Ginger. People think, curry paste is really difficult, but it's so easy. I've got some garlic in there.
Do you know I've never actually made curry paste?
Oh, really?
I always just buy it. I know that's bad. A bit lazy.
I've got some curry leaves that I'll add later. The only other thing I've got here is a little bit of tamarind.
Smell.
Tamarind is used as a sour, so it's like adding lime or something like that.
Okay.
Just got a little bit of tamarind. Yeah. I'm just going to put a little bit of grapeseed oil. Now the reason why I use grapeseed oil is quite neutral. I'm just going to blitz that. Really easy, huh?
So easy.
That easy. And we're just going to now start to fry it. Right, so what I'm going to do, it's not a heap there, so we're not making monstrous amounts, but I'm just going to start to fry it in oil, bring out the flavour, and then I'll actually start to season it. Now, Goanese curries are a little bit different to other curries. A big thing is coconut. So they have a lot of toast. You remember the curry having toasted coconut at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to toast some coconut too.
That smells amazing already.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now that's, to me, really toasty. You really smell that, can't you?
Yeah.
Right, now I've got some prawn shells and I've just made a quick stock. So all I've done is just boiled up some water with some prawn shells, and I'm going to add that. And I'm going to let that reduce down a bit. And I've got some coconut cream and milk that I'm going to add. Right, now that looks really good.
That smells really good.
Yeah, let me try it. Oh wow. I know, you're not allowed to. Oh, it's quite spicy. A little bit more that cream to it. I put quite a bit of turmeric in it and it gives it that beautiful, beautiful colour. Right, so look at these prawns. These are monsters.
What sort of prawns are they?
They're Yamba Kings,
yeah.
so northern New South Wales. One of the real things to a Goanese curry is that coconut.
Yeah.
Now look at that, beautifully toasted.
That's perfect. Can I smell it?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, that's just taking me right back to Goa.
Has it?
That's so good.
Now these prawns are absolutely insanely beautiful. Now I'm not going to throw the prawns into the curry. I always find when you throw seafood into a curry and you let it sit around, you're sort of waiting and whatever, it just overcooks.
Yeah.
I actually like them to be a little bit undercooked, like a little bit translucent, and I'll show you what I mean. It's just so fresh, you could eat that raw. I'm just going to start to fry them off.
So just for a little bit, and then
Just for a little bit.
chuck them in, or would you? Are
No.
you just going to pour it over?
I'm gonna pour it over.
Oh, yum.
Right, so I'm just going to grate a little bit of cucumber and make a raita, which is basically like a tzatziki without the garlic.
Yeah. You know, it is funny though, because when my grandmother or mother taste any sort of exotic food,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, it's so spicy.
Really?
You could give her spaghetti bolognese,
Yeah.
and she would be like, it's too spicy.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's basically what you grew up on with your grandmother. It was like really basic sort of food.
Yeah, well, because we grew up, like, we didn't have a lot when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of the cupboard staples, like, you know, a lot of white bread and Devon and, you know, big stodgy meals like shepherd's pie and spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah.
What did you eat when you were growing up?
Look, because we were on the farm for a little bit, then we were out west. It was really a piece of protein and 3 veg. And when I mean 3 veg, it was a pumpkin or carrot. It was a potato and it was a green, whether it was a bean or peas or whatever, frozen peas.
Yeah.
And it was all boiled and cooked to the shit house. Now these prawns, you can see, I've just quickly, basically I'm just going to cook them on one side and I'm going to turn it off. And I'm just going to let it sit there. And what I really want them to be is that little bit translucent in the middle.
Yeah.
Because by the time we add the hot curry to it, they're going to be well and truly cooked. I'm just going to check this. Starting to break open even. Oh! Get off there. Look at that. That's real, isn't it? Right, I reckon that just needs a little bit more. All right, I'm just going to squeeze this out. You see all that water coming out? What I should do is actually salt it for a bit. I'm just going to salt that for a little bit now.
And what does that do?
It just really brings out the moisture. It'll just leave me with that pure cucumber. I'm just going to add some herbs, some mint. Because I love mint in Indian cooking because it's always so fresh. Mm-hmm. So just finely chop it. We're not going to be too fancy here. You can see now it's already turning into mush.
Yeah.
The salt breaks it down and it just draws out any moisture in it. Right, I'm going to try that curry.
Yum, look
nice
at
and
the
thick now
colour
too,
of
isn't it?
that.
Wow.
You even shot yourself.
I shot myself sometimes. It's got a bit of heat to it, there's no question. But you know, spiciness is good. And I've actually cooked some rice just before, but I put some cardamom on top.
Is your mum a good cook?
I
hope she's not watching this.
I never said she wasn't. Mum, you know, did what she had to do. And Dad the same. Yeah, look, Mum used to do a good roast, there's no question.
When I was younger, I used to think I hated lamb roast.
Yeah.
And that was because it was so dry.
So dry and so overcooked.
And they'd have this yucky mint sauce on the side.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. You'd have to smother it just so that you could get it down your gob.
That's exactly it. Grab a plate for our damper. All right, now there's something that I've got for you, a little treat. Now, I remember you saying to me, you always struggled
Yes?
with cakes. I was up early this morning.
Well, wait, are you talking about the cake that I made for my friend and I burnt it?
Yep.
And so then I thought,
Yep.
well, maybe if I just cut the top off and then put the icing on top.
No one
and
will
then, yeah, no one will know. But
That
they
wasn't
did
the case
know.
though, was it? The thing is when you bake, and I've experienced this over the years, if you ever burn anything, you've got to get rid of it because it just permeates straight through anything and everything. So I've done something similar where I've cut the top of it off, but I've actually turned it around and I've made it into something a little bit special.
Oh my goodness.
Now this is a
Is this for us today?
Yeah, it's a Fraisier cake.
So next time I burn a cake, I can try to do this.
You can try and do this. It's only a sponge and I've cut it in half and I've turned it upside down. So that's the actual bottom of it. That's the top of it and I've soaked it. And I've put a creme patissiere and I've added butter to it, of like a vanilla cream, and I've put strawberries around it and I've put tape around it so to hold it all in place. Now this cake we make every Christmas.
Yeah.
And to me, it's absolutely just a magical cake. You know,
Yeah.
the kids love it, everyone else loves it, and it's something that we're just going to keep doing. So really easy. You can actually put icing on it if you want, or marzipan, or you could actually pipe something on it. But
I like it just like this.
yeah, so do I.
Lovely.
But really thick. You're gonna add lots of that.
Every time I had to take cakes into preschool or primary school, and my mum would be there baking little tiny butter cakes the night before from the packet mix, and then cutting out the little the little pyramid shape and filling it with the cream. Yeah. So I do really love like sponges with cream and strawberries. It's like my favourite.
It's a beautiful light sponge, this one. You could actually put like a pattern of strawberries around the top, but I'm just going to do like a little oasis of all fresh berries. These are mulberries.
Did you have a mulberry tree on your farm?
My nan had a mulberry tree.
So do you remember like jumping out of the trees and having all the stains on your hands and feet?
And they would like it for days. But what I do remember about the mulberry tree is we used to get the sticks and break them off, carve little things on the end of them, put a string to it, and then make arrows. And my brother and I used to chase each other around trying to shoot each other with bow and arrows. Seriously, it was like...
It's just so wild.
I don't know.
Goodness.
I don't know how we survived, but... So there's our Fraisier cake.
That's perfect.
Now, I know this is not part of the recipe that I envisaged in the beginning, but I'm just going to add a little bit of lime juice.
How come?
It's quite spicy, and I want a little bit of sharpness to it right at the end, rather than just heat. So to me, you can make food always look really nice and pretty, but to me it's always been about balance. And when you have something that's really hot or really fatty, you need to cut it with some acid. And to me, fresh lime juice, and I know the Indians use fresh lime juice.
So would that take it down a notch or just balance it out a little bit?
Balance it out, so it's not that real heat in your mouth.
So this is just my plate?
This is your plate. I'm just going to take the cardamom pods. You can keep them and reuse them.
And so, wait, do you just put them in when you're cooking the rice?
Yeah, you do, but you can't reuse them.
I'll put them in my handbag. Take them home.
Put them in your handbag and take them back to Ali and Carl and say, hey, look what Matt gave me.
I got these for you guys.
I'm going to get the prawns, and I'm going to get the nicest ones, and see how they're a little bit translucent in the middle.
Yeah.
So it's just cooked. I'm going to put a couple on the top, and then the rest of them around the outside.
Chuck the duds on the side.
As we say, 3 buffalo girls go around the outside, around the outside. Back into your DJ.
That was Eminem, wasn't it? Who said that?
Wasn't it Malcolm McLaren?
I think it's both.
3 buffalo girls go around the
Yeah,
outside,
he
around the
says
outside.
3 trailer park girls go around the outside.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Right. I went and did that rap with Fitzy and Whipper.
Yeah.
And I won.
Did you?
I did. Coconut over the top. So to finish it, I've just got a little bit of fresh leaves I'm going to put over the top. Just sprinkle them over wherever you can. What you could also do is just quickly fry these in little light oil so they go crispy. I'm not going to put sprigs, I'm just going to put some leaves.
Well, this is a little bit different from the food that we grew up with, isn't it?
But you know what?
Rissoles.
It's a little bit of what your history is and what you remember, and I just hope that it's up to scratch.
No, I think the smell's anything to go by.
Brooke, thanks for coming.
Mate, thank you so much for having me.
Absolute
I'm
pleasure.
so excited.
A little bit different to our late night at the Robin Hood playing pool.
Yeah.
Right, take that,
Okay.
and we'll come back with that.
All right.